Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a review or quick review of the Phylida Aqua Terra Shades homage that I have here in dark green. It's being done by request by someone, one of my viewers. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and tuning in periodically and liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. This one here, as you can tell, I kind of have a thing for aquaterras, and it's part of my journey is to figure out what I really like. Which wristwatch check? I'm wearing a Corju Railmaster, which I really like for weekends, dress down. I've also got the Bumblebee, which I bought a number of months ago. During my journey, I wanted something different, so I got the secondhand black and yellow, hence why it's called a Bumblebee. But I didn't like the fact that it just said Corju on top. I wanted them to put a logo, but they said, well, no, we can't do it because of, they gave me a whole bunch of reasons. The reality is they already had these done and they were blowing them out, so I got it on a strap to get something different. And then very recently I got this guy because it had the logo, and but it didn't have that 6 o'clock date window, which doesn't matter. I still, the execution of this is quite good, and it's got a nice flat sapphire crystal on that. But there are a number of videos online that compare the Corju and the Phylida, and the Phylida almost always wins, and it's because when you pick this up and you compare it side by side, a video can't really demonstrate what you feel in person, and having these side by side, the Phylida just feels better put together, better finished. It feels like a more solid product compared to, let's say, if we were to look at cars, a Toyota versus a Lexus. They're both great, but the Lexus just gives you that much more of a premium feel. So the fit and finish is better than that. It has, screw pins for the lugs instead of push pins, and the screw pins, when you adjust them, there's just that feel of quality, and they're more robust. The spring bars, when I was taking this off, the spring bars are actually more robust and have a more solid feel than anything in from anybody else. The screw back, or the case back, has that diamond tooth pattern that Omega does, whereas the Corju just has, well, not. The butterfly clasp is only opens one way, but there's no half length, so this fits a little looser than I'd like, but that's okay. 6 o'clock date window, that's on my must-have. The batons are faceted. The loom, well, who knows? I'm not a loom guy, and I honestly don't care. Once the lights go out, I'm asleep, so it doesn't really matter. As far as dimensions go, this is the 41 millimeter width with a 20 millimeter lug to lug, or not lug to lug, lug width, and a 48 millimeter, I believe, lug to lug. So it wears very nicely, but as most people find, this butterfly clasp just doesn't. It sits well on the back of my wrist, but I could live without it. That said, the side, these are brushed, these are polished, so they're gonna pick up every single little nick and fingerprint and ding. But I think I paid, I believe it was $150 Canadian for this, and worth every penny. Certainly less than the $9,000 Canadian that a real Aqua Terra Shades would cost me. And once this needs servicing, I'll probably just replace the movement. It's a lot cheaper than paying for a service. let's give it a wrist shot on my 7-inch wrist before closing out this video. Oh yeah, and the clasp, it only closes one way, so you got to do the top first, and then this bottom. And yeah, that that kind of sits well. And my wrist is I'm on a 7-inch wrist, so pretty good, pretty good. Anyway, so there you have it. One step closer to getting the real deal. But this is satisfying enough that I may not. If other brands decide to, let's say if Courjou decides to make one like this with a 6 o'clock date window, I'd probably pull the trigger on that. If Pagani made one like this with a 6 o'clock date window, I'd probably pull the trigger on that. Until then, I'll be very, very happy with this. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the red face Bernie that I had, which has since been sold since I did the last comparison video with the Courjou, had what looked like a double dome crystal. So even though the quality of the watch was good, the crystal kind of let the face down. It almost looked like it was under a magnifying glass all the time. This being a single domed, it's got a better presentation. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, and have yourselves a great day.